Hi everyone, welcome back to Jeffrey. In this video, I'll tell you the whole story of what happened at Sunday's game. TWENTE Ajax when I was kicked out by the security guards for filming. If you haven't seen the video, link one in description. Most of the public, the supporters, found that it's shameful and ridiculous and they stood up for me. I'm extremely grateful for that. Thank you so much for standing up for me. I'll tell you the whole story from my point of view, how it exactly happened, and I'll admit the things I did wrong. I'll show you what sort of gear and other stuff I tried to take inside the stadium. But first of all, I'll react on an article published yesterday about the story and the reaction of TWENTE's spokesperson. I'm gonna read the translation of this article in tubantia.nl. FC Twente takes Hungarian vlogger out of the stadium. With video. Hungarian football vlogger was expelled from the Rose Veste on Sunday afternoon by several stewards of FC Twente. The YouTuber was present to make a report about the match against Ajax, against FC Twente's house rules. It caused quite a stir on social media. The Hungarian football vlogger, a football fanatic who flies throughout Europe, was present at FC Twente Ajax on Sunday afternoon to report on the match and to capture the atmosphere in the Rose Veste. The video on his channel shows that the young football fan is having a nice afternoon but is kicked out of the stadium by 5 stewards around the 60th minute. According to him, the vlogger was told in the first half that it was forbidden to film in the stadium. According to the house rules, it is not allowed to make competition images. Nevertheless, he continued. Although the video shows that he mainly portrays the supporters of the fanatical Vakpay. Then I was thrown out of the stadium as if I was a criminal. I was even kicked in the leg by a steward, the football fan said in his vlog. Humiliation. I tried to explain why I was here, but they were not interested in my story, he continues. After I was kicked out of the stadium, the police came to me and asked me to leave the area. I can't remember ever being so humiliated. The Hungarian football fan receives a lot of support on social media. Many Twente fans do not understand the reaction of their club. After all, the football fan was there to make a documentary about the atmosphere in the Rose Veste, which is actually positive for the club, according to the supporters. FC Twente would do well to apologize, is a wildly read response. To the trouble of the fans, a few days later, FC Twente itself fully supports its decision to expel the YouTuber from the stadium. According to the spokesman, Richard Peters, the Hungarian has violated the club's house rules. And that wasn't just about filming in the stands. He was also clearly a nuisance to other supporters in the stadium. According to Peters, the Hungarian vlogger has also been confronted several times about his behavior. Our stewards have visited him several times. However, he refused to change his behavior. The person was removed from the stadium after several warnings. The Hungarian football vlogger also visited the match between FC Twente and Feyenoord earlier this year. No problems at that time. It is unclear in what way the vlogger has bothered other football fans. The club does not want to go into further details. The club's spokesperson talks about clear nuisance. That means that I was bothering other people. And they don't want to go into further details. Why do they not want to? Because with all the respect, this is a made-up excuse for something that you've done wrong. At least most of the people believe so. Instead of a proper reaction, they try and sweep it under the carpet. Moreover, this statement is not even true. Here are some reactions backing me up. What a ridiculous piece of that spokesperson of FC Twente. I sat next to him the first half. Didn't totally see a steward at all. He pointed the camera at the field neatly, and every once in a while he turned the camera to tell himself something. He hasn't bothered anyone in the stands. How can the stewards and Mr. Peters then say they've been with him multiple times? Unlucky reaction of FC Twente saw the stewards at the stadium this morning. We sat 3 rows behind the vlogger and did not experience any inconvenience. The only ones that were annoying are the overstretched non-English speaking stewards who are at the wrong time. If they need to be there, they hook off and look away. This positive vlog would be a business card. Have to be, but ends negative, so next time we can't film apparently. Also, no one around me told me that they were bothered and I should stop. It didn't seem to be a problem. I'd say about 70% of the supporters reacting this story had the opinion that the club should apologize for this, invite me back and give a media pass or something. That would have been really heartwarming, but honestly, I would have been surprised if that open-minded, modern reaction actually happens. But with this reaction, we're experiencing a club ignoring the opinion of the majority of their supporters. Now the story here is what I tried to take inside. This was the bag. So some people said it was a large bag, and it's not a large bag. What I had in it, which were totally unnecessary, was my raincoat, as we were in the Netherlands after all, right? A pullover, not this exact one, because that one I left in the Netherlands, whatever. There was another pullover inside, and then I had this case, which is for the GoPro, and there were 2 batteries in it. So here we go. But we were already suspicious with my friends that they're not gonna tolerate this one, because I wasn't sure, but bags are not allowed. Last time I took a gym sack, so not a bag, but it was the exact same size, and there were no problems at all. But with a friend, we thought that a nylon sack from the fan shop would be accepted better, so he bought me this cat ball to take home. As you see, it's already used, so it was in this. So before entering, I took every single thing out of the bag and put it into this. So all the stuff was in a nylon sack like this, but you see, this is literally coat and pullover, the majority of the thing. This is what I had in one hand, and in the other hand, I had this 40 centimeter long GoPro stick, which I was allowed in with already in several places, but not here. This is what it looked like with the GoPro and the attached little microphone on it. So the security woman tried to take this away, and then this I had to leave in the storage, and this one I could take inside, but actually they made me promise that I won't film, and I did say I won't film. Of course I did eventually. Here it's also part of the story that with the stick and the GoPro like this on it, I already tried to run away. I tried to run away once, I admit it, and then this aggressive woman was shouting on me, and then, yeah, okay. We took this in the storage. I was pretty stupid not to put these two, like the clothes I didn't need. But yeah, I didn't, so I went in like with all this stuff. And then during the game I was filming like this, occasionally pointing it towards myself to explain some things, and then towards the stands basically, not the game. And this was it all. I went inside, met a friend, and for the first half I was filming like this in my hands. That was what I explained in the video as well, and there were no problems. I've read some people writing, or maybe it was only one person, that I was warned 4 times. It's not true. I was warned 2 times, once at the entrance, which I already told, and once right before halftime at the additional time of the first half. I filmed the halftime summary. It was already pretty stressful. I had no idea that they were watching me all the time. And then I was looking back, as I told in the video, constantly in the second half. And then I moved a bit inside in the row because I saw an empty place, and I hope that they're gonna let me do my job. But they eventually noticed me, and they started to come inside the row, the first row, the exact same woman who just had this main project. It was the first row of the second tier, as you saw, between sections 315 and 314. So that woman started to come inside, and I started to sort of escape the other way. But already the security on the other side was alerted as well. So it was already quite the scene. And people were wondering what the hell we're doing. So the guards, or at least one guard on the other side, was already waiting for me. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna run upstairs because that was the only way. And I was really obsessed about like really creating content about this game. So I tried to run upstairs, but then that person came to me and shouted, and that was already quite the scene. So I was like, okay. I was taken out of the section, for starters, by the same guy who eventually escorted me out, what you saw on the stairs. They asked me to show the camera. I did, but I was so confused that instead of turning it off, I actually pressed recording. I'm in a squat position and all the guards are standing around me, and like the camera is pointing upstairs. I had no idea that I had that clip, so I was actually pretty happy when I found that they exist. I was like, okay, here is the gear. Oh, it was all in it, so just take it to the storage and let me watch the game. But after 2 warnings, they were already really determined to kick me out. I told them to let go of me because I have a valid ticket for the game, which was 40 euros, by the way. They said no, so I tried to run around them. Not that I would try anything like that, but I was like so desperate. And in that moment, that was what I explained, that one of the older guards kicked me in the right leg. That was my total of 3rd time of escape trial. So that was really something I did wrong. So I tried to talk to them and I really tried to go back, and I wasn't cooperating in letting them take me downstairs, but eventually I had to, obviously, and then I started recording on the stairs, and that was obviously already intentional, unlike the ones with the GoPro on the ground. Not listening to their 2 warnings and trying to run away 3 times is definitely my fault, I admit. So why the hell did I do that? You saw that the one-way travel for this game for me was 1,300 kilometers. You also saw all the effort that has gone into the video, and that it wasn't only about the game inside the stadium, but much more. I believe in what I do, and in the community of this channel, I really do believe in that obsessedly. I really do think that these videos should be accepted. After I worked 7-8 hours with the video only ahead of the game, I was like, I'm not gonna let these guards stop me from what I've been doing for 2 years. And after all this, the club's spokesperson makes up something that is not true. There was no copyright infringement, as I was filming only the stands, so that couldn't be a reason. So what was told to this newspaper doesn't really have any backing, and the fact that they don't want to go into any further details makes this statement very vulnerable. They didn't reach out to me directly, nothing. This sort of content is really popular, getting a lot of exposure, and you can do this to individuals anytime. But in the long term, there is no stopping in the evolution of things. This content is also good for the club, no harm at all, and first of all, educational purpose, not necessarily commercial. Also, other vloggers have been at FC TWENTE, so it's pretty much unequal treatment. I even found a vlog of the same game, which was taken from the away end. Some of you might think that, oh, this vlogger is seeking attention and drama and is happy to be in the news. As a YouTuber, I'm obviously seeking attention attention, but not this type. You think it feels good to be in the news? I mean, it would be if it was for the content itself and not for this stupid incident. The long-term goal of having media passes at clubs to create these sort of documentaries and then suddenly being seen as a troublemaker, unjust actually, no thanks, no, I don't want that. I wanted that video to be popular because of the educational content and not because of the incident. Honestly, I really hate this drama. It's extremely stressful and unnecessary. At the same time, I'll always stand up for what I'm doing, for what vloggers are doing, especially if someone does it with educational purposes like myself. Thank you so much for the support of the cause, standing behind me. It feels really, really good. After all, this channel is only for the supporters, just like the game itself, essentially. Thanks for listening to my point of view. I was HFV and hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye, take care.